Hey, what's up, brilliant business owner? It's been a while. Thank you so much for being here with me today. That is a terrible way from a sales perspective to start a video, but I'm kind of out of practice. Today I am going to take a hot minute to answer your questions about Stripe. I have 290 emails in my personal inbox, and I have no idea how many in the customer service inbox. And I would say about half of those are questions that have come in about Stripe and how you as a consumer can protect yourself. So I'm going to take a minute to answer that. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Kendrick Shope, the creator of Authentic Selling, the number one sales process for the past, well, I don't know about this. I created it 13 years ago. So the number one sales process online for the past decade to help you get more clients, make more money, and create the freedom to do what you love. I have, prior to that, was the number one sales rep in the world for my company, worked for two pharmaceutical sales companies, blah, blah, blah. I can't teach you to cook. I can't teach you to drive. There are a lot of things. I can't teach you math, a lot of things you don't want to listen to me about, but I'm an expert at two things. Number one, loving my daughter. She is my whole world. And also, I can teach you to sell. And what makes authentic selling really unique is I can teach you to sell without the ick, the sleaze, the slime, the sludge, the crusty, musty, rusty, dusty. You don't have to be a bully. So that's who I am. If we haven't met, nice to meet you. And I would imagine that most of the emails in my inbox about Stripe are from people who actually know me. So I'm going to say a lot because I'm way out of practice from doing videos. So just forgive me. I'll get better again. All right, so really quickly, there is another video on here. I've got, I think, a green coat on. I think I'll find it and post it below. But I basically give a lot of information about what exactly happened. The short story is my Stripe account was hacked 1 year ago today. By the way, October is Cyber Security Awareness Month. That is actually a thing. And so, what better time than to just go public with it all, right? Like I told y'all it was coming. I hinted at it the end of, or not, mid-September. I was scared. My voice was shaking. Y'all were so incredibly kind and supportive. Thank you so much. I'm not scared anymore. I'm ready. So, October 1 is a great time to talk about cyber security awareness, and that leads right into Stripe. So, a year ago this month, my Stripe account was illegally accessed, and customers. So, I have customers who pay on retainer. I have customers who pay monthly, like what is that thing called? What's it called? What's it called? Can't remember. You sign up and it's 10 payments of $400. What's that called? Installments. That's what it's called. Installments. And so we as a company have to legally and safely hold a customer's credit card information, right? I mean, think about it. You've paid in installments before online, and you expect the company to protect your consumer information and your credit card and your banking information. So Stripe is where my business housed all those. Stripe is a really common payment processor within our industry. If you're in my industry, you've heard of it. Lots of places have partnerships with Stripe. Hang on, I gotta get my Diet Pepsi. Lots of places have partnerships with Stripe. So it's a go-to. It's trusted. People love it. And then last October, I noticed when I logged in that there were some charges to customers that hadn't been a customer since 2021, 2020, gosh, some since 2018. And of course, my first thought, if you've met me, you understand this completely, was like, what did I do wrong? How did I mess this up? Never in the 40, however many years I've been alive, math, not my strong suit, did I ever think, oh, someone's access to this. So I see our customers have been charged. I think it's a setting or something. And I refund all of those customers' money immediately. I let them know. A couple of weeks later, I was in New York City with Halliana, and the same thing happened, except this time a customer was charged $10,000. Now, being charged $349 or whatever it is when you didn't make the charge is bad enough. Being charged $10,000 is like, what the actual heck is happening? So I reached out to my customer in London and said, I don't know what happened. I've refunded this money. And okay, so all's quiet for a couple of weeks in November. And then I log on in December, and I believe I should have looked this before I got on. I did this last time. I believe there were $126,000 worth of attempted charges, and somebody had removed my credit card from Stripe, put their credit card in, and took the money. And so now I've got all these customers that I owe money to, right? And the money's not in my bank account. Somebody stole it. And so I'm thinking, no problem. I mean, it's a problem, but Stripe is a reputable company. They've been around forever. People use them all the time. I'll just make a phone call. This was actually, it was December, not November. I don't know. Last quarter of last year. How about that? November, December. So I call Stripe and I start asking them to look into it. What do I need to do? Just hold tight, just hold tight. Well, I'll start refunding customers money because it's close to the holidays. And I don't want to be a business that fails to take care of our customers. I mean, that's just gross, right? That's icky, sleazy, slimy, gross, crusty, messy, rusty, dusty. So I start refunding customers money and it goes from bad to worse. So to speed the story up, because I've already told it once, I did not get a resolution from Stripe until February 3rd of 2024. This happened October, November, December of 2023. The resolution was too bad, so sad. We investigated it. It's your fault. And it's kind of like that movie, The Call is Coming from Inside the House, that babysitter movie or whatever it is. It's kind of like that because so basically what Stripe said was all of these charges came from Kendrick, my IP address, my computer using my username and password. And I said, so all of these charges came from my IP address, meaning Knoxville, Tennessee. Yes, absolutely. And I knew that wasn't possible because my computer and I were in New York City, the greatest city in the world, in October when my customer in London was charged. And so I said, well, what about this one? Yep, your IP address, your house, your username and password. And I said, that's impossible. My computer was in New York City with me. It could not have come from my house. It couldn't have. I mean, I'm documented. I'm there. I'm at an event. Like my computer's with me at the event. And Stripe miraculously got disconnected. I really think the woman hung up on me. And I've shared this. This whole thing just sent me into I spun out of control. I had surgery earlier that year. A lot of stuff happened. I spun out of control. And things happened to me emotionally that I didn't know were possible, right? Again, y'all have heard this, and this is not what this is about. But if you're just catching this for the first time, you gotta have a little bit of the backstory. So everything spun out of control. And I got low. How low can you go? Low. And I owed all these people money, and it was the holidays, and I had no money, and my bank account was overdrawn because Stripe was trying to pull $126,000 out of my bank account to refund these people who had been illegally charged, but they never deposited the money. So it just gets more and more complicated. It is now, what is it? October 1st, 2020, numbers 4, right? 2024. And it will be 1 year, mid-October, October 15th, since this happened. 1 year. And it's still not resolved. So some of the questions that I have gotten and I've got them sort of jotted down here. Some of the questions, one was, what the hell happened? So there you go. That's the short story. The long story is so much longer, but the nuts and bolts of it are somebody illegally accessed my Stripe account. They charged customers charges that shouldn't have been charged. That same person added their banking information, pulled all of that money out, sent it to their bank account, which seems like an easy person to catch, right? Like, okay, great. Well, whose bank was it? Well, if Stripe would tell me that would be incredible, but Stripe won't tell me that. So Stripe would rather protect the privacy of a criminal, of someone who's trying to run, I'm sure not intentionally, I'm sure they don't know me, but someone who basically was this close to destroying a business that, a female-owned business that a redneck from East Tennessee built. I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, that's a whole different thing. Whatever. I'm calling myself the redneck, by the way. I'm going to get a bunch of messages about that. I don't care. It's what I am. I am what I am. And so, and by the way, if I get a bunch of messages about that, just FYI, I didn't say being a redneck was bad. So just so you know, like I didn't. I'm proud of that. Okay, that's a side note. Yes, my mind is like I got a lot going on in my head right now. Which, if you know me, you know there's always a lot going on in my head, but it is on supersonic warp speed right now. So just sorry. Um, so Stripe would rather protect the identity of a criminal than help me reclaim the money that was illegally taken from my customers. Stripe would rather hang a customer out to dry who's done business with them for 7, 8 years and that they have made a lot of money off of. At least, maybe it's not a lot of money in their world. You know, I don't run a $10 million business, but I also don't run $100,000 a year business. And so they get a percentage of every payment that comes in. I should look and see how much I've actually paid them numbers. Anyway, but Stripe's not the only company. Just so you know, like Stripe is the big bad in this story because of the amount of money that was taken. But in fairness, someone charged $10,000 to my Facebook ads account. That should be an easy find too. Let me see the ads. It's my account. Let me see the ads that were created using my money. If I can see those ads, I can catch the person doing this. You can't get Facebook on the phone, but when I finally did, through Oculus, by the way, Facebook said, "Oh, sorry, we have to protect their privacy." What? So we are protecting the privacy of criminals and thieves above the privacy of people who have paid their bills, who are doing their work. That is criminal. That is criminal. Facebook, Stripe, they're not the only ones. AT&T are doing the same thing. Is doing the same thing. Their cell phones opened in my name that are not mine. AT&T won't give me any information about it. There's cable. Someone was paying for freaking cable at their house. AT&T won't give me the address. But it's all on my account. I'm being billed for it. So actually someone wasn't paying for cable. They just put it on my account. The point here is one of the questions that I'm getting over and over and over was, what actually happened? Well, what actually happened was we're still figuring that out, but my identity was stolen in a Equifax breach in 2017, and I didn't know it. I guess because we moved so much, I didn't know it until December of 2023. But as you know, when your identity is stolen through the credit bureau, they have everything: your social, your addresses, your mother's maiden name, like all the things. And so there were 19 accounts opened in my name illegally, or accounts that were affected. So I guess all of those were not new accounts. My credit dropped from the high 700s to, God, I don't know what it is today. It was 400 and something, 416, 460 earlier this year. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter how much identity theft you have going on, how much proof you have. When your credit drops from 760, 780, whatever it was, I've got a screenshot of it, to 400 and something, nobody wants to help you. No one. And right, wrong, or indifferent about the credit system in the States. If you're watching this overseas, I don't know how y'all do credit, but that sucks to have. I got my first credit card at 18. Oh, math. I'm 40. I can't do that. But let's say I got my first credit card 30 years ago, 29 years ago, and have 29 years of excellent credit. And then this happens and somebody blows up my world in one day. That sucks. So that's what happened. It is kind of like that Marky Mark movie or Mark Wahlberg movie, The Perfect Storm. Everything just sort of snowballed all at once. That's what happened. Stripe said to me legally, I agreed. And so if you operate your business through Stripe, you have done this too. They said that when you check the agree to the terms and conditions statement or whatever, that you say, "Hi, baby. How are you?" My kiddo's super sick, y'all. Sorry. I'll be done in just a sec. So when you agree to the terms and conditions, you basically say you are fully responsible for any fraud, you are liable. So how many times do we hear read the terms and conditions? And I know that, you know that, we know that. And nobody got time to read all those terms and conditions. And if we did, we'd never do anything because they're going to sell your information here and they're going to do this and they're going to do that and you're going to be held liable. And yeah, I wish I'd read the terms and conditions, but I didn't. Or if I read them, I didn't understand them properly. I don't think personally that you are liable I think there's some legal language in there that isn't, that Stripe is going to get caught on. I don't think that Stripe can legally say that they are required. I'm not a lawyer, so I need to quit using the word legally, but they are required to store information safely. They should have been required, in my opinion, in October when I called them and to find out, what setting had been changed. They should have been required to shut it down. They didn't, and then they let $126,000 or whatever it was get charged. That's not on me. I made them aware. I don't care what I signed. So, like anything legally, there's gray area, and it hurts, right? A friend of mine was talking to me recently about lawyers and something, and it hurts and it's ugly, and I hate it. And I don't want to be sitting here talking about freaking Stripe and Facebook and all of these people taking money that I sacrificed years of my life, just like you sacrificed years of your life to build this business. And then I love. So that's a side note. So, okay, that's what happened. So, number one, how can you protect yourself? Read the terms and conditions. If you don't understand something, if you think, well, I don't really like that, but anytime you find yourself saying, yeah, but, I consider that a message to pause, whether it's a message from whatever, the universe, your gut, your heart, so I don't care, your brain, yeah, but. So anytime you're reading the terms and conditions and you're like, wait, what does that mean? Or, yeah, wait, what? I don't know what that means, or I don't like that, or yeah, but, I promise you, as sure as my hair is red, there's another option. I used to think I was really bought into this fear of missing out and this exclusivity, like it has to be this because this is what everybody in the industry uses, and so this must be the best way. Actually, and that's an ignorant business owner thing to do, and it cost me a lot of money, and it's wrong. It's wrong. There are other ways that you can take credit cards, and no, PayPal is not the answer, and protect your business. And I'm going to tell you what those are. So read your terms and conditions, y'all. I know it's boring. I know it's not sexy. I know nobody wants to do it, but I can assure you, no one wants to be where I am right now, a year later, still fighting to find out who did this and to get money back. Number one, read your terms and conditions. Number two, stay away from Stripe. Stay away from PayPal. Those places have in their terms and conditions straight up, they're going to hold you responsible. Now, check with your attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to even come close to giving legal advice. But from what I understand, stay the flip away. So what do? How do you take payments? Well, I haven't been able to take payments for a while, and it sucked. It has sucked so much. But what a former client and now friend of mine has taught me was that she had this happen to her as well. I'll put her information below. Her name is Shannon, and she had this happen to her. And she said she set up to be able to process credit cards through her bank. And she said was a long and kind of arduous process, but it's so worth it. And so that's what I would say to you. And that's what I'm doing here for this business. We're processing credit cards through the bank. Again, a long, arduous process, a lot of questions, but you're also covered, as I understand it, through FDIC regulations and fraud and things like that. So stay away from Stripe, stay away from PayPal, stay away from those anywhere that says you are liable. And actually, I don't know if PayPal still does. I shouldn't say that, but stay away if they say you are liable. They're not going to help you. And Stripe sure is hell did not help me. They made it so much harder for me. The second thing is, and I know this is like eye roll, it is, but keep your passwords encrypted in something like 1Password, LastPass, Dashlane, something like that. We had our passwords encrypted, but turns out everybody and their brother had a master password to be able to access not Stripe, but some of the passwords. So keep them encrypted, but go through the trouble of setting it up correctly. So share it correctly. I know it's a pain I know it's a pain, but do it. That helps. Turn on two-factor authentication. This is going to be standard before long for everything. And know that as much as two-factor is sold to us as the ultimate security, it's not, because someone got in my Facebook accounts, charged $10,000 in ads with two-factor on. Says it's not possible. It happened. I sat here and watched it happen. Also, someone got into my Google Apps, Google Workspace account just a week ago. I was on the phone with Jenny Shee, and she was like, check something for me. I literally watched it happen. Someone got on Instagram the other night. I was in here with Hallie, and I watched it happen. I mean, they were changing the settings as I'm watching it happen on Instagram. Two factors on all those things, y'all. So two-factor is portrayed as the end all be all, and it may be the best level of security we have right now, but you are not automatically safe with that. One of the things that comes with those antivirus things, like Bitdefender or whatever, is a VPN. And VPN, I've started using a VPN, especially when I'm out in public, virtual private network. I know a lot of people have been using that for years. I just never went through the trouble. Yeah, I do now. I do. It slows things down sometimes, but it's so incredibly worth it. So what do? Stay away from places that are going to hold you liable when things go sideways. It's not okay. They're going to take your money. They're going to charge you the fees. You're going to be a great customer. And then when things go sideways, they're going to say, too bad, your fault. No, absolutely not. Ask before it happens. Find out, okay, worst case scenario, if someone, hacks my information, how long is it going to take you, Stripe, to get me a resolution? Because if I had known it was going to take from October to February, October to November, November, December, December to January, 4 freaking months, I would have said, not no, but hell no. No, we don't do that here. That's not the level of customer service that I want as a consumer, and it's not what we're going to provide. But oh no, I just went along with the flow because that's what everybody does, right? So, number one, stay away from places that are going to hold you liable like Stripe. If you go to Reddit, and one of my attorneys showed me this. If you go to Reddit and Google this sort of thing, like Stripe fraud, Stripe hacking, there is thread after thread after thread after thread after thread. I'm not special. This didn't happen to me because of anything other than bad luck, bad timing. I got a lot of bad timing, y'all. A lot of bad timing. But anyway, it didn't happen to Shannon because she had done anything wrong. It didn't happen to the people in my inbox because they had done things wrong from what I've heard. This is a Stripe issue, and it should be against the law. And the way that I think it is against law, and the way that Stripe's got it figured is if they're not careful, they're going to end up making money. I'm going to end up in the hole. They're going to make money because I've already refunded my customers, right? I did that out of my personal bank account, and Stripe's still trying to take that money out of my bank. So Stripe would make, if I gave them the access to that money, which I had to close my bank account, they would be positive an extra $126,000. No, not no, but hell no. So don't do business with Stripe. Period. Full stop. Number 2, read the terms and conditions. Know who you're getting into bed with, business bed with. Super important. That's like 3. Have a password protector, antivirus, consider a VPN. And what I will tell you that has been the most help through this whole experience has been the attorneys that I am working with. And I have been so difficult to work with. I have been hot and cold and scared and not scared and just all over the place. But they're incredible. So I'm going to put a link to one of the attorneys who is in California who has fought these cases with Stripe before. She's a person to know. She's a person to keep in your virtual Rolodex, so to speak, because without Shannon referring me to her, I don't know where I'd be. I'm not sure that this business would even have a snowball's chance in recovering. So there's nothing new here, right? I mean, there's nothing earth-shattering about what you can do to protect yourself. And that's the part about the non-sexy part of life, of running a business, of any of this stuff is it's not rocket science. We know we're supposed to read the terms and conditions. We know we need to know who we're getting into business bed with. That's probably a bad way to say that. We know we need to use the password encryptor the way we're supposed to use it. We know we need to turn on two-factor. We know these things, right? And yet for lots of reasons, and please don't judge me. I won't judge you. Don't judge me. I didn't do all of those things correctly. out of ignorance, out of lack of time, out of a lot of reasons. And I do not want to see one extra person have to go through the hell that this has been ever, ever, ever. So somebody asked me, it is so hot right now. Somebody asked me the last time that I posted about this, which I think was about 3 weeks ago, actually. It might have been 3 weeks ago today. Doesn't matter. The last time I posted about this, yeah, what I had learned from this, and I hated that question. I hated it. And I came up with some answer that I thought at the time, with all the information I had, I thought was the answer, but I figured it out yesterday. I know what I've learned from this. I'm not ready to say I'm thankful for it. Well, I might be, but I am going to beat it. I'll tell you that right now. And that's going to feel amazing. And what I've learned is that my life, and I hope that this makes sense. So let me back up. So I felt prior to this, prior to last year, I felt like I was happy because I had a great kid. I was happy because I built this badass business and I was quite proud of myself. I was happy because I had money in the bank and could take trips and go to concerts and give money to charity and I was happy and I was really fortunate, right? And I've done a lot of personal work on, but that's not what makes you happy. I mean, it's not, money doesn't make you happy. And I've always made the joke, no, money doesn't make you happy. The lack of money can make you miserable, right? That's Kendrick's little saying. So, and all those things do help. I mean, they do. I love to travel. I love to give money to Broadway Cares. I love to be with Halliana, right? But what I've learned from this is I wasn't strong enough in myself. Sounds so cheesy. I wasn't strong enough in myself to be able to navigate all that happened in the past however many months. Because I guess 18, it doesn't matter. In the past few months because I got so much validation externally. So, you know, in authentic selling in the program, my nickname is the most over delivering woman online, and I love that. I mean, who doesn't want to be the most over delivering woman online? Come on, that's amazing, right? Um, but I'm hot, y'all. I realized that I was getting external validation from that. I realized that I was buying way too much into what this business gave me and how it fed me. And I don't need. So when it was all taken away, and it wasn't. I mean, Halliana's still here. I've still got my health. I've got an incredible life. When it was all, but when that part was taken away, I just became not even a shell. There was nothing hard about me. It was just this big thing of mush. This is a really long way to say, what have I learned? I've learned that I love being the most over delivering woman online, but I don't need it to be happy. I don't need it to be good at my job. I've learned that I love my kid more than anything in the world, which I knew, but I can also be happy doing something for myself. I've learned that I may be super kind and I may be sweet as pie, but I am also tough as nails. And these are not new revelations, y'all, right? Laura Belgray, who worked for Comedy Central, wrote for Disney, like did all, she's the one who came up with Sweet as Pie but Tough as Nails 13 years ago. But I lost that tough as nails. I was so afraid of losing. That's it. Verbal processor. I was so afraid of losing. I was holding on way too tight. And in the interim, I kind of lost, right? And that's just like in sales when you hold on so tight to a deal, when you hold on so tight to a close. And it's really hard not to do until you've experienced the ease of not doing it. And I know people all over, especially people who are, into it, really educated about energy and flow and all that stuff. We're going to be like, yes, 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 yes. But knowing that is not enough, y'all. I mean, I've heard that for the past decade. You got to be in the flow. It's got to be easy. Okay. And how do I do that if I'm actually kind of rigid and okay with that? So, what I've learned has made me so much more powerful. I told y'all it was coming. I'm changing a lot all the time. And I told a friend yesterday, I had been out of town. I finally sent in I think the end of edits for the book. I keep saying that, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, and here's another round." But whatever. I sent that in, and on the way home, some of you may have seen I posted about Hallianna called, and I had the windows down, my hair in Hallianna's car, my hair's like flying. I'm singing, the sunroof's open, and Hallianna called and said that Olivier Award winner and Tony Award winner, Broadway great, Gavin Creel died yesterday. And Gavin Creel was 48 years old. I'm 47. And you may or may not know Gavin. You may or may not be a fan of Broadway. It doesn't matter. The point is, the man was 40 freaking 7. He was a great human. 48. I'm 47. Yeah. 40 freaking 8. Great human. My Instagram feed is filled with people just talking about what an incredible light he was. But what this has taught me is that this has taught me at a level that I have not been at since I was 18 years old is I will not shrink. I won't shrink to anybody else's version of who I should be. I won't shrink to anybody else's version of what happiness looks like. I don't care. I know if I'm happy. I know what good feels like. And I lost that for so long. And then a lot of my Broadway friends were sharing this post yesterday or last night. And this is what I have learned, and it was so incredibly powerful to see it in words. This is a text that Gavin sent. I'm proud of you for living. Not living is the one thing I have learned so far during this time that is no longer an option. All caps. It's no longer an option ever again. Live. If you are alive, live. And that's it right there. For too many reasons. Some way too embarrassing and personal to share. I stopped fully living. I was always waiting until the next 100,000, the next time I did something for somebody, that till Hallianna's out of school, to all the things. And what this has taught me or reminded me is you can be a mom and still find your way back to happy. You can be a business owner and make mistakes and still find your way back to being a badass business owner. You can have your world as you know it stripped into pieces, shattered into pieces that you think nobody will ever be able to find and pick up. And you look up one day and sort of like Humpty Dumpty, somehow they're back together again. And they look better than they did before. No, I'm not through this mess. I'm not anywhere close to through this mess with Stripe. No, I'm not. But if I was a betting person, I put your money on me. Because I won't go back. I won't go backwards. This feels too good. And so that's what I've learned from this. And it's a painful lesson, but it's changed my life. If you all have questions and you want specific answers about your Stripe situation, I am no expert, but I am more than happy to share what I know. If I haven't shared it here, I'm going to post some attorneys' information below as well. So I'll post an email address and a way you can contact the attorney and make smart choices. Even the non-sexy stuff is important. Do it. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you for trusting me with sending in your questions. And I'm going to be seeing a lot of y'all. I believe in you and I believe in your business. Bye, y'all.